As we know, we have had several months of very challenging, different circumstances that we're dealing with here in this pandemic. And so it's important to lead ourselves, to be aware. My name is Maria Guy, and I am a leadership development trainer and consultant with an organization called Giant. The 5 gears are a way to really develop in our own emotional intelligence and relational connectivities. Fifth gear is focus mode. This is when we are task-centered, we are fully focused and moving quickly through the work. Usually we're working by ourselves. Sometimes we lose ourselves in that fifth gear. So that focus mode is incredibly important when we want to get a lot of work done in a concentrated amount of time. Fourth gear is our task mode. So we are multitasking, we're working hard in various different ways. So we could be answering emails, we could be addressing a text that came in. So whether we are actually sitting in an office or sitting at home, there's going to be someone who may need our attention, or just virtually. So in other words, we are open to all sorts of interruptions. It's because we've got a lot of plates spinning and we're trying to handle multiple things at the same time. Third gear, this social mode, being present with people and can shift up and down easily. What that means is we're really just enjoying the company of others. So there's no agenda necessarily. We're just connecting on a social level. Some people are more naturally inclined to enter into the third gear. Other people find it more difficult. Developing that ability to enter into this gear is really important as we navigate relationships, whether it's at home or at work. Second gear, our connect mode, being present with family or friends without work, is really just sitting down and getting to know someone. It's when you ask the question, how are you really doing? What's going on in your world? You are just listening to understand, not listening to respond, not to bring your agenda to the table. So it could be coffee with a friend, it could be a phone call with a colleague, or it could be a date night, or it could be just some time with a child. Whatever it is, it's really just you putting aside everything else and focusing on that individual. So first gear, the recharge mode, is incredibly important because this is our personal recharge when we are completely unplugged and we are feeling our batteries back up so that we can go out and do the things that we need to do. It looks different for different people. I may find recharge in reading a book or journaling, maybe taking a nap. Another person may find recharge in hanging out with friends, having people over for dinner. So recharge is really important because sometimes people don't understand how they recharge and they have gone through and really are working in a depleted state. And when you're in a depleted state, everything seems harder. You are less patient. You may find yourself being very snippy or direct with people. It's because you're running on empty. So we have to incorporate some regular rhythms of recharge. We need energy to take care of the things that we need to take care of, whether it's a task or tend to the relationships in our lives. Reverse is responsive mode. This is when we need to back up and we need to apologize because we've either shown up in a way that we didn't mean to, or we've just made a mistake. And we need to address that individual, not just say, hey, I'm sorry, but just say, this is what I did. Will you please forgive me? It is a very intentional way of making things right because you recognize that an error has been committed. So how do you use the 5 gears to lead yourself during a pandemic? Now that you understand a little bit about these gears, not only can you use them, but you can teach them to people in order to communicate. One of the phrases we use is every gear, every day. So getting through the gears is going to be important because building relationship and connecting with people is important. One of the things that I have seen is a lot of the leaders I'm working with lost their commute. And they used that commute for many different things. Maybe it was their gear 3. It is when they called friends to just socialize. Perhaps it was their recharge. That was their time where it was silence. It was their small margin between the busyness of work and whatever was waiting for them at home. And so when we've lost our commute because we don't have to travel as much, you may have lost some really important time that you use to shift from one gear to another. Many of us work in that 4th gear all the time. Sometimes you go from 4th gear at work to 4th gear at home, or 4th gear in another situation. And so how do you shift out of those? Making sure that we are being conscious about where am I right now? What gear should I be in? And what gear should I be shifting? There's going to be gears that you're going to prefer and that you're going to feel more comfortable with. And then there's going to be gears that you may find a little bit harder. But it's going to be important that you shift in and out and ask yourself, what changes do I need to make in order to shift through those and be present and productive in this pandemic, in this crazy time, because we don't know when things are going to go back to normal. But the gears will help us navigate where we should be and in what state of mind we should be in.